Hey guys, Zix here. Time for another episode of Minesaga Skyblock. Today's episode, as the previous episode, might be a little choppy um, because what I'm going to do is somewhat of a tutorial. I don't fly on? Oh, yeah, there it is. On how to build a column setup as the most efficient way possible. But before we do that, I need to go over some of the mechanics of spawners and the theories that are behind them. A spawner, let's just say this is a spawner and we're looking at it on one dimension. I guess that would be two dimensions, X and Y. They spawn in a 9x9 area. So if we're here, we would go 3 this way, like so, and 3 this way, like so. And it becomes like a nine block radius. That's not right. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. Apparently I have officer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. And just picture this as a box. Probably should have did a different color, different block, a different braca for the outside. So the theory is that any spawner, like say there's a spawner here, that's in this entire section will take away from the spawning efficiency of this spawner here. That is the leading theory right now on why the column method is more efficient than the ring method. I'm going to stay with the ring method for my farms, as they are 250 hoppers, and you're not going to get 200,000 columns in column format without them taking each other's space. You're just simply not going to do it. It's just not a possibility. So how do we do this then? How do we make this efficient? Well, as we know, it's 16 blocks away from where you are standing is how far away that you will load a spawner. So we have to go online, and if you, I'll leave a link in the description, but there is a Minecraft sphere generator, and it is called Plots. At least this is the one that I use. It's really cool because it tells you level by level how to put your whatchamacallit together, your sphere, and so you put in the radius, and you put in you put in the diameter, which is not going to be 16. You'd think it'd be 16. But that's not true. It actually has to be double that. Otherwise, you'll only be 8 blocks away in one direction, and 8 blocks away in the other direction. And we don't want it to be 32, which seems logical, right? Because it would overextend. It would be too far. So we're actually going to make it 31. And 31 will make the far exterior will be 16 blocks away because we're standing right here. So we want it to be 16. And you're not going to use the outer. Once you get 2 to 3 layers out, you're not going to be using the outer layers anyway. So what difference does it make? I already know that it's going to be 16 down and 14 up, so I can start building my top. And so if you load the plots generator with me, you'll see that now I'm just going to start building. I'm just going to start building the sphere, which is, I don't have a shovel on me, do I? Why am I having an issue with fly today? Tell me, friends. The first couple layers are easy. It gets a little trickier as you go. And since we're going to be dealing with limited space, we want to be sure to use all of the space wisely. So now if you look, we're only 3 3 blocks away. We still need to go another block out and then one more before we do the top layer of our next row. And there will be one here, and 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 one here as you go. So I'm going to pause to do the next 2 layers. I'm not going to show every layer on camera. It's too long. This is not an easy, quick build. And I will consider making a schematica of this spherical design with the cobble when I'm done. Because this is a little more complicated than the previous things that I have done, and maybe it'll save you guys some time. I'm usually a firm believer in you do your own thing. Oh my gosh, get a dang shovel in your life. I'm a firm believer in you should be doing your own builds, but yeah, maybe this is a little too much. And if I'm already doing it, maybe I can save you guys the work. Anyway, I'm gonna pause it and continue with this. That's too much. Shovel, and then we'll be back. Here we're back. And as you can see, it's starting to form now. So we're gonna come out. Remember, we want 4 spaces in between. So our next column is gonna be here. We want 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, that's not right. It'll be one more down. So we'll get to that as we get there. But let's do these 4 corners first. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. And 1, 2, 3, 4. There. So that is our first couple of stacks. As you can see, it's only what, 1 down from the top there. But already we get to a point where we have to go down to the next layer to do the next column, which not the end of the world, but the next column will now be there, because remember, we want to be 4 spaces in between, so that they don't so that the spawner does not hog the space of the spawner in the previous column. So I'm going to go ahead now and do this next layer of dirt. And then we can get these other columns started in their proper locaciones, and then we will go from there. And we're back, and as you can see, now we have the next ring following the plots sphere generator, and I went ahead and put the next cobble layers in. And so now what we're going to do before proceeding is we're going to go ahead and build these columns. You do not have to recreate this sphere on the bottom, and I'll tell you why. We already know that this is going to be 1 space away from that, so all we have to do is come all the way down here and make sure it's 1 space higher than the bottom. Voila! And then with this, we know that this is going to be 1 space lower than that row. So then we come down here and we make sure that this is 1 space higher than this one. And that's how we do that column. That way we don't have to rebuild this. And frankly, if you're watching this, now you really know all you need to do is come out 4 and come down 1. But I wanted to show you the thought process behind it by making the sphere. And before we go out farther, because now we're going to have very diminishing returns and much significantly smaller stacks, I'm going to finish these and we're going to count what we end up having before proceeding, and you'll already see we'll have quite a lot. So I'll do that when I come back. And we're back, and as you can see, we have all of these done. If you count all this up, you have 16 here, you have 14 here, you have 4 columns of 30, and then you have 4 columns of 28. That comes out to 65,500 spawners, so we're doing pretty good. We're almost done here. However, I've recently learned that the max that 100 T3 hoppers can handle is a little bit more than that. So we would have to come out another column here, and I've already kind of done that. This 1, 2, 3, 4. So then we would come down here. That is now 1, 2, 3 spaces. So 3 above. Was that 3? 1, 2, 3. Yes. So now I'm going to do that on all 4 corners and then come back again. And we're back once again. And now, as you can see, I have completed another column. So before we had 65,500. Adding these 4 more columns on the outside now gives us 358 stacks of spawners, or 89,500, which I think now we're starting to get to the magic number a little bit here. I think that might be pretty close to as much as 100 hoppers can handle. Now, if you wanted to go ahead and add more, we could go ahead and add more. So give me a moment to calculate. It's going to end up being like around where I'm standing. It's going to end up being like right there, because we get like I said, the farther out you go, the columns get significantly smaller to conform to the overall sphere. I'll at least show where one of those columns are and calculate what it will give us. But I don't think you're going to need to do that. I think at 90,000 or whatever, 89,500, I think you're going to be pretty close to what you need. But I'll go ahead and show you where that is, just to be on the safer side. And we're back again. And as you can see, I have the next column placed, which comes out to 22 total stacks per column. We can actually do 8 of them because it's 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, vice versa, whatever, etc., vice versa, etc., which comes out to 44,000 additional spawners, which comes out to 133,500. And then we could do another 4 stacks on each corner if we really wanted to, which would get us up to 150,000. And then to go out another 4 actually puts us past the spawning radius of 16 blocks for the sphere, that is, because it actually would come out to, oh boy, it's hard to look at now that I don't have the sphere built. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 layers to there. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the last layer ends up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 down here to finish out the sphere. As you can kind of see that spherical shape going, and then you can actually only put like 7 here. And then as you start to come around, the stacks get even smaller, 5s and 6s. As it comes, it's hard to show, but as it comes around this corner here. So once you get that 133,000 plus these 4 more stacks get you up to like 145,000. Then once you come down to this, you really can only add like 2,000 more. Well, how many is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 250. Yeah, maybe 10,000, maybe. So we're at maximum 160 with the spherical setup. Now, maybe if we pushed these in and only had them spaced by 3, we could squeeze in another 10,000. I have actually done that before. You still can't get a max setup, though, doing these columns. You end up putting them so close to each other that it turns out the same as the ring, which is the testing that I did. I did like 100,000 spawners with columns, and I did like 100,000 spawners with a ring, but I spaced them in a way that columns would work in the sphere format, which ends up being 3s and some 2s as you go farther out, and it ended up being exactly the same as what the ring setup was. But we're not talking about 200,000, we're talking about under 100,000. And it turns out, I'm going to have to admit when I'm wrong. The columns are better for smaller setups. And once you have all these placed, I'm just going to break this because this isn't going to happen. I'm not going to walk. Then you can remove the dirt. And you're left over with, I mean, I'm not going to do all that on camera, but then you're left over with this. I guess I'll take a pause and clean it up. And we're back. We're back. And now I went ahead and did all 8 of those columns, as you can see on the outside here. And yeah, that's it. That's the setup. Take the dirt out. It doesn't look quite as, I mean, you can kind of see the sphere shape, but it's harder to see. And then you can see it again down here. Yeah, I'm not going to do a schematic. I thought more about it, and I'm going to stick to my original feelings, which is you guys need to do your own builds. I've pretty much showed you how to do this. You don't have to draw that giant dirt sphere, but you know, start 14 up and then come out 4 down 1, then come 4 this way down 1. It's easy. Then come down 3 and come out 4 this way, and then you have it. I am going to leave this on my island if anybody on my island wants to copy it and schematic it, but don't ask them for the schematic. Do it yourself. Accomplish something yourself. It's fun, and it feels more satisfying when you build something yourself than when you're just hitting a button that prints it for you. But yeah, this is it. And also, I'm going to squeeze at the end of this episode. Somebody asked me to build a smaller overflow system, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly what they're asking for. But I'm gonna get started on building a setup for that, and then we'll be right back to wrap up the episode. Okay, I reread the question about 3 times because I still really wasn't sure I understood. He wants a smaller loop. The reason why I don't particularly understand what he's asking for is because it really doesn't matter what size the loop is. It's the same design. But I mean, I don't mind. I guess I could redo the whole thing and just show the whole process if that helps. So yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll do a smaller loop. I'm not going to bother putting up the chunk lines because why why bother? That's not. I'll see now. Signs are glitched again. Look at that. Fast plate. Oh no, they're not fast. Gosh, sometimes I amaze myself. They're not glitched. I'm just hitting done so fast that I'm not even seeing it. Okay, so you have your channel, right? You need to have them stop over a sign, over an ice block, and like so, and like so. Sorry, just gonna get my loop done here, of course. Okay. I'm not going to connect the hoppers because who cares? We're just going to do this for now. Even though I know... Well, why don't we just do it then? So, here's a small hopper loop. Is that even enough? No, I'm going to need another break. Or is it going to go the whole way? No, it doesn't. This one will. So an important step of the hopper loop, and I mentioned it in the previous episode, but somebody showed me a farm that wasn't working, and it was because they did not take my advice. Do not have the water stopping at a corner. And I'll show you what happens when you do that. Go away. Okay. So let's say we have the water stopping here. As it stands, well, if I throw stuff, the hoppers are going to suck it up. I'll just use your imagination. Let's say I threw this stack of packed ice here, and all of these hoppers are full of lapis or something. So they're going to float. They're going to hop over this because of the ice. They're going to come around the corner, and then they're going to stop right here because they're going to bounce off this sign and stay here, as opposed to continuing around the loop. So to avoid that, we just want to make sure that our water is traveling around the corners. It's very simple, very easy. Obviously, you're going to have your chunk lines. Cracked voice there. Obviously, you're going to wrap it around the chunk lines. If you want to do a smaller loop, there's really no reason to. You could go ahead with a max size loop right away. Maybe the guy that asked has a limited amount of space. Maybe he's got a compact space. I'm not sure. But the science is the same. No matter what size you make this, the water travels 8 blocks. You put a packed ice in a sign, and then it travels another 8 blocks. And just make sure our water wraps around the corner. That's it. You can't get any simpler than that. But anyway, let's finish up over here. Let's see if I can get in there in one try. I cannot. Hey, I made it. Thank you guys for watching. As always, take it easy.